So, guys, super cool to have you all together, and so amazing that we've got this virtual bonding that we have created over the last 1 year or so with some of you, and then with some of you joining the community later. But it's so amazing, and I think we guys have a lot of fun within the community, and especially with everything that's going around us with the pandemic and everything. This is bringing a smile, at least for me. I can say that because I mean, with all sorts of the jokes and the music discussions and everything, I think it's so amazing to talk to you all via the inside the community, so to speak. So I'm very thrilled to have you all together in this podcast, and I just wanted to give you all an opportunity to express yourselves. That's the whole point of this podcast. So, like, look, there is no set agenda or anything of that sorts. It's super free flowing. I just wanted to hear you speak, and then I speak very less in this podcast. So that's the whole thing. I'm sure you have heard me enough in all the other podcasts that you have watched. So I'll keep my mouth shut in this one and then hear more. And so with that said, look, I know almost every one of you here, but I would love to know more in terms of what's been your musical background, and then also where did the ARR magic start, or when did it start rather. Maybe you can start from there, and then yeah, we can go one after the other, and then we'll come back again. And then yes, this is your opportunity to express yourself with anything that you want to talk about. So, look, with that said, I will probably start off from my right. So, Jyoti, you're number one.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I actually grew up in Canada, right? And
Yeah.
my family at home we speak Hindi. So since childhood, I've always had Hindi movies and Hindi television and all of that. I've been exposed to that, and from like for me, I I was really young when I saw some movies like Dilse and Takshak, and I couldn't understand anything that was happening in the movie. They're quite mature movies too, right? But the only thing that stood out to me was the songs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how like my connection with music started. Um,
Right.
and those are the two movies that I think of actually, like when I think of the earliest movies that I connected to with the songs. Like I didn't remember anything about Dilse, but I remember that at the very beginning, as soon as the movie starts, Chaya Chaya is there, and so that's kind of how my journey with music started. And for me, it's always been about the music. I still watch movies, but like I mentioned the other day, like if it's a musical, I really pay attention to the music. I'll never forward the songs or anything. So it's always been about the music. And yeah, because of that, I guess I got into music as much as I could when I was growing up, learning instruments and being part of choir and whatever is available to me there. And uh, like finally, as an adult, I got the opportunity to also learn Indian classical, Hindustani.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, so I've been doing that for uh, about 2 years now.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Okay.
just yeah, it's like very recent. So yeah, um, but it was just always there, just knowing that that's where all the ragas and all of that, like just hearing Sir talk about how that is a big part of his music. It was always like on the back of my mind that I need to learn this. So thankfully that I got that push and eventually started learning that, and it's so fulfilling, right? And
Yeah.
every time I see him, you know, go into details about something, that kind of just pushes me to actually learn about that thing. So for me, I consider myself like a lifelong student of music, and it's uh, it's like from things like AR Sir and the way he speaks about it and the way he explains his music. That's how I figure out what I should be learning and what I should be teaching myself. So yeah.
Very well said. Yeah. Nice. Super. And so, who wants to go next? Maybe Shruti?
Hi. So I've been learning music since childhood. It's like a typical tradition in the house to learn Saregama right from the time you start learning ABCD. But I recently, since couple of years, I started learning Hindustani as well, just to get some more clarity over the different systems. Because it's only in India that we have two systems of classical music. So that kind of intrigued me, and I have been ardent listener of music since very long, and I also like to listen and think about the interviews that goes behind and read about those. So that gives me an insight about the thought process of all the musicians, and that kind of gives me better understanding of what is happening. And essentially, in this group, why I enjoy so much is because we kind of dissect everything and go deeper. And this is the kind of connection that probably some people find it crazy, while you also have so much of like-minded people to discuss. So I'm very happy about connecting with so many like-minded people and discussing. So that kind of pushes you, because like you have ambitions, but for every day you require discipline and that push. So I think we all kind of support each other in this journey, and that's how I really cherish, and this is very precious for me. Thank you.
Nice. And you also, go back to watching podcasts again and then trying to get, um, knowledge out of it, and then you do further research and things like that. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm getting to see your comments and things like that. Yeah, thanks for that. Really means a lot. And so, Keshav, you want to go next, buddy?
Yeah, sure. Um, so yeah, I don't have any music education, although just always want to learn keyboard,
Mm.
or piano, or keyboard rather. Maybe it's high time I should start doing that. Um, but yeah, ARR, I don't know. I mean, I was born in '92. He made his debut in '92. So I think my whole life has just been with ARR. That's it. I mean, what else can I say?
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, at some point, I never even knew there was someone else other than ARR's music. Like, I knew my parents would talk about, Ilayaraja, that's it. But almost every other music is ARR. So I never really connected to ARR. I just like all this music during the 90s were amazingly catchy, amazingly, you know, great to listen to. But I
Mm.
never realized it's always all these were attributed back to ARR. But then back, I think around when I was 14, 15, I listened to this single by him, Pray For Me, Brother.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the instances where I felt it was an album where he himself released it as a single, so there was no name, superstar, movie, or director backing it. So then I started paying attention to his music,
Mm.
and then ever since then, it's just been one level deeper, one level deeper. Then in college, Rockstar released, then all the more deeper, VTV. Then yeah, then yeah, over the last 10 years, it's been more granular, thinking about how AR's music is so good, and then
Yeah.
you kind of also realize, none of the others are actually even up to him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, then you get the slow poison type of songs, and you start to first ponder, am I really listening, liking it, or am I just like, liking it because it's ARR and all that journey.
Yeah.
You read reviews, yeah, you just find like-minded friends like Gautam here and other people in my
Mm.
college, and so you kind of discuss. So yeah, I'm so thrilled to just find this community, because like I think someone is saying, like all this analysis and dissection can seem crazy to someone outside, but I'm very happy to find like-minded people, like I don't know, 200, 300 people, like-minded people in this community who are like, hey, this guy makes sense. He's not talking rubbish, and this is something valuable. Reading all these messages, that's something which is really nice, to connect across one person, Um,
Mm.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
um, what else? I'm just, I think I'm always been very grateful to exist in the same era as ARR. Is that itself such a huge um, coincidence? I would just say. Imagine like he's here for like say 100 years, and we are also there in that same 100 years. We're just sharing that. That what a great coincidence that is. So yeah.
Yeah, very true. In fact, I mentioned to the team that some of us go and dissect the music or the songs, and then in fact, to the level where okay, there's reverb added here at this point, and there is a ting sound here, and then the faded effect is here, and things like that, and far beyond that too. And then the team were. We're actually very surprised that we actually go to that level of dissection, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just insane and great. So, Archana, all smiles.
Yeah. So a lot to speak about Rahman sir, Chandar. I mean, yeah,
I
like
like
this
your t-shirt.
community is. Oh yeah, my mom gifted me this, and I was like, I want this, and she got it from Amazon. I was like, oh, I love AR Rahman. I've always wanted one. So about Rahman sir, I've been learning Hindustani classical music during my school days, but there's been a big break in between. So I would say I'm amateur, and I have to learn a lot. I have to restart again. But my school music teacher, Jay Prasad sir, he was a school music teacher who also taught us
Yeah.
Hindustani classical. But what happened with Rahman sir's music is I didn't know that Rahman sir exists, but some of his songs used to be played at home.
Mm.
Roja,
Mm.
and then there was this I've also mentioned in one of my big captions before. There used to be the school drill, for the Independence Day or probably for the 15th August, or the
Mm.
Republic Day. Probably we all were asked to participate in the drilling exercise every day. So before our school and after our school, we had to practice this. And I'm not really a exercise person, but then they used to play this Hindi song, Pyari Panchi Bahu Mein, from the movie Indian. And to me, I did not know Rahman's at that time, but the music used to do something to me. I'm in that school playground. Everyone is dancing with that feathery prompts, and everyone is rhythmically dancing, and something is already happening. And I used to look forward to it every day. I mean, that was something. And as a kid, I didn't even know what I was doing. Something really pulled me. And so and then we went, my mom, dad, and sister, we all went to Mathiran hill station once. Since I grew up in Mumbai, we went to Mathiran, and they used to play this. They were playing this Rangila song, Yaire Yaire. Coincidentally, it also has the word Mathiran in it, and that used to be played. And I don't know who's Rahman sir, what's happening, but something about the mountains. So I mean, I have this thing like Rahman sir, mountains, and it's no matter what the mood or the genre of the song, it does something to you. It really triggers something into you, and that is difficult to explain to others, people outside, the normal people who are like, okay, Raman sir, theek hai. Like, they don't understand the craziness. So when I joined this community, I was like, oh my god, every other person is like me, even crazier than me. Probably I'm nothing. Some of them have studied Raman sir, they've done PhD. You are one such person to look up to. And I'm like, oh my god, this exists, all this craziness exists. It's not just, okay, not, I mean, and this community has taught me so much. I mean, every person has a different perception of looking at Rahman sir's work. One looks up to him as a good human being, one is so inspired by his music. And then yes, we get to know a lot about the singers. Every singer talks about their perception and their experience with Rahman sir, and that's what the podcasts have really brought in. I mean, for us, we are very lucky to be in that situation. For example, Shreya Ghoshal ji's podcast was like, she actually took us inside that
Correct.
vision. In
Yeah.
in my imagination, she said the studio is a temple, and sir is sitting there calmly composing something. So you imagine, you go into that imaginary
Mm.
world, and you imagine all that happening. and there's something that the music does which is hard to explain into words. So this craziness, this Rahmaniacs that we are all are, I really like that we all have this same feeling for Rahman sir, the same respect, and I'm really glad that this community brings all the wildness here. And so many things this community tells me that I don't know. I mean, I still have to learn about, be it musically or his work. Like, for example, if Rohit is talking about a BGM, I most of the times I'm like clueless about it. What is it? I mean, where did it come from? Makes our observation power even we become more alert. Oh, next time this question is going to be asked and I'm like going to be blank. And then so many breakdowns of the song, people doing covers, improvising on themselves. It's all a learning opportunity for all of us, and I really feel blessed to be a part of this community. Honestly,
Amazing.
it really makes us all it gives us a special place there, somewhere you feel connected. And I believe in this universal law of attraction. So when you get up every day and you see the message, you're seeing Raman sir, something about Raman sir, so you constantly, you can't even forget, you're reminded of him every day and night. So that keeps me glued to this whole thing. So
Love
yeah,
it.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for what you have been doing for all of us, for the community, and of course, without a doubt, for the
Yeah,
sir
I
and
mean,
his
we're all
team.
doing it together. So it's
Yeah,
magic cannot happen just with one person doing it, right? So it's a
true.
collective effort, and hence why we are all part of this community, and each one of us is contributing in it, and hence why we are able to smile, and it makes us happy. And I also absolutely love the passion with which you just described, and I still remember. I think. When Sir's Facebook post came up with about my podcast and thing, and you were one of them who was commented. You had commented, I think, or I can't remember. Yeah, I think I had put a thank you comment to Sir in his Facebook
Yes,
post, and
yes,
then
yes.
you commented back, and probably it was about my hoodie that I was wearing or
So yeah, I
something.
had all my eyes on that. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, definitely. I was like, oh my God, what a
and
hoodie I
And,
love. Oh
and
my
I
God.
responded back, and you were like, "Oh my God, I got a response from you." I'm like, "Hey, I'm just a
Oh
fan,
yeah,
just like you are."
because I knew this was happening. Chandar, someone called Chandar in podcast, and something huge is happening there. But
Mm.
for me, it was like some celebrity replying to me. It is like definitely, and it felt really. Oh my God, what's happening? That prompted me, and then I didn't know that there's a form to fill. I mean, so many good things to join, and this happened. So I'm glad.
Nice. And I'm sure, I think each one of us here in the room, we have a similar story of that sort. I quite remember almost everyone's little story. So yeah, great, amazing. Sushil, what's up, dude?
All good, all good. It's very happy to see you all actually.
And very happy to see you smile.
For me, being born in 1992, as Keshav said, it's whole life is with AR sir. And actually, being born and brought up in Odisha, we don't have being a Telugu, we don't have that many people over here who speak Telugu. So we grow up with other non-Telugu speaking people. So we have this community, we have a Telugu community which is less people, and we celebrate our New Year thing. So I remember during those days, I got to listen about Rosa songs. Even I remember Hamma Hamma song was playing and people were dancing on stage, and I was very young then, and I was dancing my parents were sitting and I was dancing there. I don't know what happened, but I was dancing literally. And
Mm.
as I grew up, my English teacher in school, her name is Rupa Das. She had that impact on me in 2001 when Lagan released, and we had to do the stage performance for the school function, and they made me sing in a chorus. They made me sing Opal and Hare, and I never knew who Raman sir was, and singing that and that feel that gave me, and it still lingers, and I still remember those days when I was singing in the chorus and dancing for Ghanana Ghanan song as well. And one more instance, there was an Independence Day song performance, and she made me listen Gurus of Peace song. I never listened to that before, and I was holding the flag, and doing this thing and all, and that literally gives me goosebumps. And she had very much impacted me with this. After that, there was Rang De Basanti. In her tuition itself, we were allowed to watch movie with her. She was explaining what this means, what that means, and she was the person who let me understand, knowing the credits after the movie gets finished, right? So we don't literally see credit section, we just skip, or we don't get up from our seats and we leave the hall. But she was the person who would let me understand what is the impact of knowing the credit, who has done what, and how is it, how the process is done. So I think she has literally made me listen to Rahman songs mostly in Hindi things. And after BTech, when I joined this IT sector, I had been posted to Chennai. So by meeting all the Tamil friends over there, I knew more about Sir, more about Tamil music, and literally I learned Tamil with that. Within that 2 years, I learned Tamil, and
Oh,
I can,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
I literally thank my friends over there. They each and every word, everything they made me understand. Now I speak Tamil, I understand Tamil, even I sing in Tamil. So
Very-
that makes me very much happy. And throughout this whole thing, AR sir is the only constant with me. And I don't know what magic it has done, or he has done for me, or for everyone. And with this community, I feel that unity within us, and this community gives me positivity. And waking up early in the morning at 5 a.m., I look up to the phone to check this group's message. After coming from office at 7 or 8, I look up to the group to see what messages are there. So this group completely gives me that push and makes me happier. This makes me keep myself in a positive sense. Or I would say, whenever I get when I get into a tense position or a tense mood in office itself. Now I work in a bank, so a lot of people come and they say a lot many things. So they even scold us even because of the services we provide, being in a government sector bank. So to keep that cool in me, I think of Rahman sir. That makes me pleasant and make me cool. And I think whatever he has done, I'm very thankful to him, and thankful to you, Chandarana, because without you, this would have never happened.
No, it was probably meant to be, man. It was meant to be.
Yeah, but the thing is that whatever it is, this destiny, and I'm very much happy to be in that.
Yeah, so amazing to have you as well, part of the community, and always smiling. And then it clearly shows your positivity in what you contribute in the community, and also your in-depth feedback on the podcasts, and the feedback and stuff like that. All of you, you keep sharing, right? And it helps me to work towards making it better, and also it brings a big smile on the guest's face. So thank you for what you do, and so amazing, man. I like the passion, you guys. Like I love it. This is the ARR language. Right? Okay, Kavya, go for it. You're on the beach.
Yeah. I'm in Chennai. Okay, hello everyone. I'm so excited for this, and I have so much in common with Archana here. Clearly, just like how Sushil said, I belong to a Telugu family. So there is no particular influence of ARR sir's name. It's like, it's more of other Telugu composers or Ilayaraja sir, like they're like mountains here. People only listen to their songs.
Yeah.
But if you remember in Doordarshan, there was something called as Asha Chocolate, and they used to play Chini Chini Asha, and then Asha Chocolate they used to advertise.
Okay.
Asking people which song is this, then people used to address it as like, don't you know, it's Roja, it's Roja. They never said it's Rahman sir's song. Similarly, like all this Chaya Chaya, whatever it is, and that is what happened in my school when we were not allowed to perform in any of the film songs. So we had all Rahman sir's private albums like Vande Mataram, Gurus of Peace. So that we used to sing for the competitions and all that stuff. So, but we didn't know that it was Rahman sir's song and all that. So the introduction of Rahman sir, the name of Rahman sir has happened in the year 2008 when I was in 8th class. Like it was I can remember it was a winter night with nice breezy thing, and I was listening to Puduvelai Marai from Puja.
Yeah.
I was mesmerized by the sound. I was like, I just went running to my father. I was like, which track is this? Which movie is this? He was like, that's my Ratnam's movie. That's all. No, again, no, nothing like that. Then came the brand entry of Sir in my life through Oscars. It's like, okay, there's a person called as A.R. Rahman who won Oscars. I was like, I was asking, who is this person, A.R. Rahman? What are his songs? In spite of listening to his songs. Then they said, he's some Mallu guy. He studied in foreign. They had all wrong information about him. And since then, I started Googling about Sir, getting to know a lot of information about him. That is about his music. Then the year 2016, where I was preparing for my chartered accountancy, I was not interested in studying that. So my study went on to AR Rahman sir. I used to open YouTube, watch all his interviews, note some points down. I made a diary out of it. I wrote each and every lesson. Even now, when my mom scolds, I'll be like, no, ARR sir is always very good to his mom. You should be
Wow.
keep telling that to myself. Yeah, can't help because sir, I never saw sir very angry, and I'm a short-tempered candidate, so to lower myself. Like sir is there, sir is there. I tell to people that he's my mortal guru, and like just like yeah, so I'm that crazy. And unfortunately, I still don't have people to discuss about sir's work other than this community. So I just told Chandar, like, you're so kind enough. And I told him, like, I have no one to discuss. He just added me into the community, of course, after filling the form. So, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember because I think one of the days out of the blue I got a message from Kavya on Instagram, and then I responded back and she was like super thrilled. Oh my God, you responded. And then I said, and she was super energetic, and this is the enthusiasm she had even then. And then that's when she said, I have no one to talk to about AR sir. And I said, okay, community is the place for you. And yeah, amazing enthusiasm that you got, and the stuff that you ask us within the community and things like that brings a smile. And and do you
Yeah, but
still
I'm
have
so.
that diary with you there? Do you want to show the stuff that you have written on your diary, or is that too far away from where you're sitting?
It's too far away. It's
Okay, yeah, you can share it later. So
yeah. I'll share it. I'll share it. I wrote like, even now I was like, no, that diary is not sufficient. I'm thinking of, finishing my MBA assignments. I'll write it down again neatly.
yeah, nice,
Have that.
nice.
Yeah, but
Okay,
thanks for this community. Thanks. Like I come to know so many new things about sir, like in Tamil language and in Malayalam language and all. But I'm super happy. Please do the same. Thank you so much.
amazing. And we get to know about the Telugu stuff via you, huh?
Yes.
Rohit will be like, hey, we knew this already. Okay, that means Rohit, you go next, buddy.
I'm making Rohit watch Telugu movies. Horrible.
He actually did. He did. He actually did.
I
Pabam, he
actually
watched
watched
Pulli movie.
Puli.
Sushil, he watched Pulli movie.
I watched Puli. I couldn't believe that I actually sat through the movie. I watched it over 2 days, obviously. I
Oh my
just
God.
couldn't handle watching the whole movie in
Mm,
whatever 2 hours of that.
yeah.
So this what a waste of amazing music, like that background score. If he had used it in like Maniratna movie or a Rakesh or Prakash Mehra movie, uh, Imtiaz Ali. Oh, like I had my hair standing when I was listening to Marale. I don't know how to spell it. Excuse me.
Maralante, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that
yeah.
song.
That
Amazing
literally
song.
gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Did you have
right.
goosebumps just when I sang it? No.
No,
And one thing I forgot to
no,
mention,
no.
in 2008, I guess we whole school we paid one tribute to Sir. It was all Sir songs. We all danced and it when he won Oscars.
It was more like a medley, huh?
No. All his Jai Ho song was at the end. All his journey we performed throughout, like singing, dancing,
Wow.
whole
Uh,
night for Sir from our school. It was a
Any videos of that?
tribute.
oh no, I'll try to collect it. I think I have it. I'll just try to download it.
Right.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
yeah, for me, like okay, I watched Roja, love the songs, but what changed my like before Roja as well, like it was background scores were not I didn't pay attention to, but Tirda Tirda, that
That
The
changed
background
everything.
score in Tirda Tirda, that changed. Then went back, heard Roja, went back, heard Pudiyamogam, and I was like, dude, there is something about. Then I went back and listened to all the background scores of Ilayaraja movies as well, and some of the like Mr. India. Like there was no hook to hook you to the actual movie.
Mm.
But when you listen to Tirda Tirda, like especially the chase scenes and then Iruvar, oh, Iruvar has got to be my favorite movie. That the background score where when Prakash Raj and Mohanlal walk on the terrace and he shows the crowd, that's it. I was floored, and then I realized that I have to start downloading background scores, however it is. Like I used to sit down with my recorder, and I used to record it on the TV.
Mm.
Uh, but the quality was not there like what we have now. But yeah,
Yeah,
it
so I'm sure you guys remember early on with this in the podcast, I did say that there are some crazy bunch of guys who remember the camera angles of the background scores. This is this guy. He just said about Error, right? Where Mohanlal and yeah, anyway, not Mohanlal. What am I talking?
like
Prakash Raj.
Mohanlal and Prakash Raj, both of them,
Yeah, yeah,
like
okay, yes.
on the terrace, and Prakash Raj is actually explaining to him what
Okay.
his the crowds look forward to and what's his
Yeah.
as an actor what he can bring to the to politics. Like that's core. I will never that chant he goes off and oh, even in
Yeah.
Navarasa, even in that Raudram, the way the title track, like I was
Mm.
listening to it last night. I slept at like 3 o'clock in the morning just listening to that just listening to it. I didn't even open my eyes. I had my headphones on and slept hearing just the background score on
This is
Netflix.
like height of craziness, man.
Like Mimi, I watched Mimi even 2 days ago just for the background score. Just closed my eyes,
Right.
lay on the bed,
Great.
um, and watched it.
Awesome.
Of course, the music is Hututu and Rihaide.
Very high.
Um, so
Great.
it's amazing.
Awesome.
What this
Great.
person Rahman has done to us has um, is just a blessing he's got. He's
Mm.
such a truly immensely blessed human being, and
Indeed.
it's not like he's you know it's that humility that I look up to. Like he's reached
Yeah.
such levels, but his humility, his the way he carries himself, that's something else.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, buddy. We'll come back again to chat more about that one. So, Divya, too quiet. What's up?
Hi Chandra, just listening to all the experiences feels so good to know. Yeah. So how it all began for them and like
Yeah.
nice to yeah, for me I've been in a musically inclined family. So for my mom, she had learned like classical music for like 18 years
Yeah.
and then she stopped I think after her marriage and then after retiring she's again pursuing music. So she's still learning. But I think I never bothered to learn, even though it was all Carnatic in the house. I
Yeah.
used to listen to songs like all kind of songs like Malayalam songs, Tamil,
Mm.
Sun music
Mm.
used to play in the morning, so Tamil songs and everything. But I think it was Bombay mainly. So we had this ritual of going to this Maniratnam movie. So Bombay, I remember exactly. So that was when I think the Kannalne song. I don't know what made me actually. So always wanted to hear it again and again. So I made sure I got a cassette for that one. I told Amma I need that one. Then I think from there it was non-stop. Even though I listen to all kind of music, I'll be like waiting for okay, when is Raman sir's next audio
Mm.
coming? I even made friendship with the music store guy. I used to tell him, Cheta, please keep a copy for me. There's a few cassettes coming in Kerala. I think like the place where I am in. So I used to tell him, see if something comes from like his label, just keep one for me.
Nice.
I think college, I think I managed to find few people who are as like
crazy like me, so we used to discuss it there. And I think the when I was in school, in the high school, I think we had this 50-year independence celebration. That's when Ma Tujhe Salam got released.
Mm.
I remember that we there was a big chorus. I think we arranged a group song like of Ma Tujhe Salam, and I volunteered that okay, I want to be part of this song, even though I don't sing or anything. I said okay, I would love to be, and I actually volunteered, and I feel proud that I was part of such a big group that performed that day in
Beautiful.
that school. Then yeah, then I think from there it's been non-stop. But coming to this community, I have to really say, so it was like whenever a new song gets released, I'll be going and telling my husband, okay, listen to this song. He would be not knowing anything about music. I'll be like, you see a small sound there, or you did you hear that? I'll be like, he'll be saying, okay, I don't know whether he gets that or not. But yeah, he would listen patiently. He would all say everything. But here, I've been non-stop. Like you can talk everything. Like even the small intricacies of the music, I can go on and on. Like I think I'm least when compared to all of you in depth of the knowledge that you have about Sir's BGM or anything. Like Sunil will be asking like, okay, which scene? Like you'd be saying, okay, which scene that song is from. I won't be able to actually recollect that. Okay, where it is coming. It has been nothing short of magic, I think. And especially with this lockdown and everything, so much of negativity going on in all our lives. Like we are all very stressed, working from home, homeschooling and everything. So you tend to be always in that stress state. Whenever I take my WhatsApp and see, it won't be like be so many messages, but whatever is the last I try to, okay, I'll be getting back to myself. Okay, I'll be like, oh, something good I get to know or get to hear. Like it'll be a audio clip, some quiz will be going on. Out of the blue, I just jump in, I just reply. It makes it so nice to be Chandar. Yeah, it's how to explain it, I don't know. But yeah, the day is incomplete without actually replying to one of the messages in ARR group. It's become like that.
Nice.
So that
So
that
good to have you
connection
too.
is, yeah, the connection is also like that. Even though I haven't met any of them, I have a personal connection when somebody says no, okay, like if like Tejasri says something, I know, okay, yeah, yeah, it's like I've been known her for ages, or like you don't feel that distance, doesn't matter. And I don't think it comes like that. Maybe that ARR connection has actually bonded all together. It's like a family. Whenever somebody comes to the group, they say, no, welcome to the family. I think that is in our heart. So that is why it doesn't take a second to think, okay, are we typing family or group or anything? It just come like, okay, yeah, we are typing that family thing. So it's so
Very
it's
nice.
so so blessed in this, I think, especially with all this negativity going on.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel so happy that I'm part of this group.
Great. So good to have you too, and especially what's going on in Sydney and then in Melbourne too, to a degree where we are in a lockdown and things like that. I'm trying not to let stuff like that affect me, which means that I'm trying to be drowned more in Sir's music and the community and things like that. So which means that I forget about what's going on out there with the lockdown and things like that. So yeah, that's how I'm trying to deal with it. And I'm sure it's even more tougher in Sydney with a lot more things happening. But anyway, we are in a better place. I can put it that way.
Yeah.
So, Aditya, my friend, too quiet. I'm worried.
Hey Chandar, sorry, my mind is still playing Girover. Ever since Rohit spoke, I've been sort of trying
You
to
went
figure
back to
out.
that scene, is it?
I'm in a dilemma here. Whether this is a scene where Prakash Raj is on top and Mohanlal is at the bottom and they are going around, or whether this is a scene where Mohanlal comes to Prakash Raj's home and he takes him up and he's like, raise your hand, and then
That's
oh
the scene.
boy,
That's the
I'm
one.
in
That's the
that
scene.
madness
The
right
hand.
now. But
Rohit
sorry, say that
acknowledges.
again.
That's it.
That's the scene I'm talking about. Where
The
he
second
goes
one,
to
right?
yeah. So
Yeah,
where he goes to his house.
Oh boy,
nice.
yeah. So this is the craziness that I live in ever since I've been part of this community. My initiation with, or rather introduction with Rahman sir has been uh, the first time my fanboy moment has been this Vande Mataram song, which every time it comes on TV, it doesn't matter if I'm playing on the streets or something, whichever household plays, I'm just going to drop my bat, cricket bat, ball, whatever, just go and stand outside that room and just watch. I don't care if it's my house or it's someone else's house. I would just watch that. And so that is the first one. And then the fan level reached sort of crazy levels when I moved into the US from India, and sort of came in deeper with a sense of music. So I have very basic music background, although music has been part and parcel in the family, and songs keep playing, movie songs, classical music. We keep going to kacheris and concerts. But yeah, I have very little background in music, but ever since I've moved in and sort of tried to handle and figure out myself in the US, the level of, just like I said the other day to you, Chandar, and to others in the group, the Chaya Chaya song for me is like I enter in a state of trance. Like people feel, back when I heard it initially, I used to, used to dance, and just like Archana said, when I went for a Mathiran trip and I forced my parents to play Chaya Chaya on the tape recorder, it doesn't matter, everyone heard it, so I had to listen it. So from that level, it's taken, the Sir's music has taken me to deeper levels, and it's like, it's like a connect. So I honestly, I don't have any personal aspirations to meet him, but I feel he's just talking to me every day with his music.
Amazing.
And I'm more than happy with just that. I wake up with AR Rahman, I sleep with AR Rahman. There is this group that adds on to that madness. So I can't have more AR Rahman on my life. So it's this group is like the cherry on top of the dessert that I have. But yeah, that's pretty much my journey.
Super. In fact, the Chaya Chaya stuff that you mentioned, of course, you brought it up in the community the other day. And after you brought it up, I played it, as I told you, in the community as well the other day. And then that particular track kept playing in a loop for a few hours. And that's the magic it had on me, even after hearing it back again after so many years. And then it's just amazing, man. And then I think I started to find newer nuances in the track, although I've heard it millions of times before. So yeah, it's just amazing. That's what Sir's music does to us. Thanks, man. It's so good to have you part of the community too, and super sportive on all the jokes and stuff.
Thank you for being tolerative to my all PJs and all whatever I come up with. But yeah, thank you so much.
All good. Gautam, what's up, dude?
Hello everyone again, and as Aditya mentioned, right? He mentioned that initiation. I think that's the right word, and I think I shared a similar experience that Kavya and I think Divya also shared. That I didn't know what a music director is, or I thought just with the films the music just existed up till some point, 2005 or something. And then my brother used to say there is this guy AR Rahman, and all his songs are hit. And I used to wonder how a person can do that. And then I slowly started to listen to songs over headphones, right? And before that, I didn't own any headphones, first of all, and not any good speaker. And at that point, when you listen to his music, right, and it's very obvious what it does to you. And then Oscars happened, like Kavya mentioned, and there's this particular felicitation function that came up in Sun TV, and everyone was there, right? Everyone was there. Everyone was there, and that kind of nailed it, to be very frank. And that's why it started, in the sense, this whole process, and I would say this whole ARR fandom, right? That itself has been a journey. That's a separate track in my life, because that has its own life in the sense that how it was born and how it has grown and how it has matured now. That's whole, just being a fan itself as a journey is something unbelievable. And if you take a person's life and you see that there are different facets where he has achieved a lot, right? Like you just take the keyboard playing, right? The very basic of AR Rahman. And there he's a master. When you come to the composer, he's a master. Collaborating with people, he's a master. And you can keep going on and on and on. How you take your success and you accumulate it, right? Like you've got this one, like how do you behave? How do you make it more, right? Like, so some of these parts, I would say. So, and then you dig deeper, as I said in the journey, right? You have several different phases. At some point, you're collecting music and you're trying to dig deep. You're trying to get this BGM, that BGM, and this song, that movie, this movie, and you do all that. And after, at some point, I've had like where you listen to interviews and you try to learn more about life from him. There is that aspect. I think now it has become more spiritual, because the more you learn about ARR, all the facets that I mentioned, like the keyboard playing, composing, and maybe anything, you see that eventually I see him as like, I don't know if you can use this word, but I see him as like a spiritual representative, like a real Baba, right? And he has that, like, what I mean is like a genuine one, that what you would expect. And I see him just as a spiritual person who just happens to be in music. And I think that is where his roots are. And what I take away from that is that if we can be rooted in anything like that, then wherever we are, I think we can achieve something. Like we can be better than what we are today, at least. So I think we all need that kind of a root, like what Rahman has, his faith. So that is the phase I am in right now.
Beautiful, man. Yeah, very well said. Amazing. I'm sure what you've just described is something that we all resonate. It all resonates too. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Super.
Yes, I think that is what is also reflected in the movie, right? The 99 songs, like
yeah, correct.
How that awakening that he has. I think that is a perfect biography of AR Rahman, but just it's not the events of his life, but the mental state that he went through, right? How he went into music, and then he had this awakening and everything changed.
Yeah. Indeed. Super. Thanks, man. Lucky last. Tejashree.
I'm too nervous because I see a lot of pictures of Sir here, and especially Shruti's. Sir is staring at me.
And there's one behind you too.
Yeah, but the one Shruti has put. Oh.
Yeah.
So I have been born in musical family, associated to Hindustani classical, but I never really knew someone like A.R. Rahman. So I just have memories from my school annual day. Of course, I'm very bad with the chronology thing and all, memory thing. But I remember that during the annual day, Jia Jale, this song was being played somewhere in the ground or whatever, and I whistled some bits in it. And I immediately thought by a sister, convent school, I was in convent school, so sister punished me. And she made me go 5 rounds of the ground and all, not to whistle again. I just have that memory, and then watching Bhagat Singh in auditorium schools.
Yeah.
That's really special.
Very nice.
I don't have much to say as I'm a bad speaker and all. I can
no such thing. It's you're just expressing. That's all. It's not a public speaking test or anything. So it's just whatever you feel like, just express, and there is no judging whatsoever. It's just the love that you have for Sir and his music and the person he is. That's all.
I just want to express my love.
Yeah. So I mean, of course, we do enjoy your your friendship within the community too, and then we like your the positivity that you emit, and then feedback, and then being friendly to everyone, and then just sharing a smile is it means a lot.
I agreed to someone, I think Archana. When you replied to me, I was like, oh my god, he replied to me.
I'm also a fan like you.
Not like me, I'm looking in front of you all.
So
And I was really amazed. Yeah,
I get a lot of messages like that every day, and then but I try and reply to almost anyone who messages me, and then it's just they're taking time out to write. and sometimes you've seen people write big long emails and then paragraphs in the Instagram DMs and all. I mean, it's you have to be courteous to at least say thank you, right? And then so that's all I'm doing. There's nothing else. So just so that they are happy that I acknowledged, and I want to be thankful to them that they pulled out time to write to me. So that's how I see it.
I also had one instance where in school, of course, uh, Independence Day, during Republic Day and all, we used to sing Vande Mataram in a choir or something. And this one thing I remember, that I was so emotional once, that Vande Mataram, that mic was in front of me and I couldn't sing it. I just cried.
Yeah, Sir's music does that for sure.
Teachers,
Great.
they scolded me after that. Why didn't you sing in Holland? How can I explain that?
Nice. Cool. Look, there's something that I wanted to get your perspectives on, all of you, in terms of like, every ARR fan, every ARR Sirs fan will just always say that there's something called this ARR magic. So I know what that magic is, because I can straight away say that this is Sir's magic and it does something to me. There are so many instances like that. But I wanted to hear it from you all. What does that describe me, that ARR magic that happens to you? So tell me, just treat me as a layman and tell me what that magic is. Why does Sir's magic stand out? And then and we are obviously, how should I say, we are so attracted to that particular magic, and then it does something, at least to me. So I would like to know what it does to you and what is that magic. Describe that magic to me. I don't want to go pick one after the other, each one of you. So probably I'll just start with the first one. But after that, feel free to chip in, and then just, even if it's a chaos, that's fine. That's totally fine. But the first one, I'll pick. Jyoti, you're on.
Sorry, I was on mute. For me, it's this like, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but when, like, especially when I hear a new track for the first time, like the most recent would be Mimi, right? The soundtrack. I just remember, like, every single track you hear, and then you're just confused, like, what is this? Like, and you're trying to figure out, like, what is this that I'm feeling? And and that makes you even more curious, that you keep going back to those same songs and you keep trying to figure out, like, how is he doing this, right? So for me, it's really like, it comes from that curiosity. Like, I'm just like,
Describe
really
that feeling. I mean, that's what I want to know more. Like, what exactly actually happens?
like,
Maybe it's hard to describe.
it is very hard to describe, but like, I know in the past, like, it's happened where I wasn't careful and I was like trying to do something, and then I'll hear an ARR song for the first time, and then I'll just like drop everything I'm doing. And so now I make sure that, like, I actually take out time to just like focus only on that, because I know that something's going to happen, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's just like you get lost. Like, it's like you kind of get transported, like, so apart from music, one of my like my biggest hobbies is like reading. So I like to read books, and when I read a book, I totally get lost into that world, right? It's a very similar feeling, like you get transported to a completely different world. Especially if you just like close your eyes and just listen, like you're just somewhere else. Like, that's all I can describe it.
Yeah,
It's such a different, like, it's such a otherworldly feeling, right? It's so hard to
yeah, indeed. I mean,
put into
it's,
words.
it's it's a funny thing actually, because there are some tracks. I mean, I don't want to go pick any track here, but instances where tears start rolling down, and there are no reasons for that. I couldn't come back and tell you, hey, this is why probably tears started rolling down. Let's say, oh Ashika, for the first time ever when I heard that, I don't know whatever it did, but it just did something to me, and which I cannot describe even in words for now, for example. And then Rihaide also, for the first time ever when I heard that, and then something, and there are the certain elements that basically just trigger off, and then I don't know, whatever happens. I'm just not talking about just the tears rolling down part, but I get glued to stuff like that. And then that's I don't know, of course it was not intentional or anything, that's not how the creative process is, but in terms of like it just happens as part of the creative process, and then we are automatically attracted to things like that. So yeah, look, that's why I'm finding it hard to describe it in words too, but that's why I wanted to hear it out from you guys as to help me understand what that magic is, what exactly is that. Look, I'm not going to pick names, just jump in, guys.
I'll
Keshav,
go
you-
next.
No,
Yeah.
go ahead, Kavya.
Okay.
Go ahead, Kavya.
So, like when I listen to Sir's songs, I keep the musician in me aside, and I only listen like a normal fan or a layman. So the first thing which attracts in Sir's music is having two different tunings for two chernams that we had. If you can, the first chernam and the second chernam has different tunings. So this is something which is very rare. It's like a conventional method is like one pallavi, two chernams and all. Then I was like, okay, now what is the second chernam? That's how the curiosity starts.
Mm.
Those, as you said, the magical sounds, that make us feel, oh god, this I've never heard of. I break my head figuring out what instrument and how could Sir even produce this kind of music,
Yeah.
because we are again used to those conventional instruments and all. So
Yeah.
coming to a layman to again I transfer to that musician thing and all, and I keep thinking, okay, how Sir might have conceived this idea and how he might have got this, like, going to that zone, that level of dedication, I think it's all this inputs what Sir keeps, and then after listening to the track, we can feel all of that.
Yeah.
Like the Sir might have made it in a very pure form and all. No? When we listen to his Sufi songs or any traditional song, we get the feel as if we are in temple. I
Correct.
think that feel that we get within, or is that ambience, that imaginary ambience that gets created, right? That's really amazing, I feel.
Yeah, especially when you hear like Kun Faya Kun and then Khwaja Mere
Ah.
Khwaja, like adding on to what you're just saying, that's all.
Yes. And the other day when you asked, like, did you have tears? For the first time after listening to Rihai De, I just had tears because of the situation that's going on. But that song came right on time. Even such.
But okay, you had tears when you actually watched the movie.
No.
And
When I saw Sir's video, it came at the right
oh,
point.
that part, right, the video.
Yes. So something I was actually mentally disturbed. So when I heard that song, I was like, oh God, this song came as a healing to me right now.
You
That
found
happened.
some sort of a calmness there.
Yes. This happened many times. Even that miracles also happen with Sir's music. That is really, it's a godly connect, I feel.
What's the miracle thing?
Like coming at the right situation. Like, if I'm dull and all,
Yeah, that way.
from somewhere, Kun Faya Kun starts playing, or Rihai De has come. So it's like that. When I'm happy, I get to listen to this Nive from Yuva. I told no yesterday, Friday once. Ni Yaro. I don't know.
Yeah.
Panna, right?
From
In Hindi.
like that situation. So yeah.
Nice. Keshav, you were going to say something as well?
Yeah, one interpretation of what makes ARR magical is, I think in general, on a very high level, we human beings don't like randomness. We are confused by randomness. And a lot of ARR songs eject that randomness in you, because it just takes you on a random journey. When you hear it for the first time, you're like, what's this? It just confuses you. You are pushed out of your comfort zone in every way. Your brain actually is probably pushed out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And again, going back outside ARR, when you find something which creates order out of chaos or order out of randomness, that's magical. Not every process in the world can create order out of chaos. ARR's music is something, one of the very few things which makes sense from chaos. And I find his music, first time our brain makes, maybe it's chaos for us, it's chaotic, it's random, but then at some point you start listening to it, and then it's like as if a knapsack has been put over your head and it envelops you, and you are just transported to that dimension of ARR music, and you are like, okay, this is it. You're just, I don't know, you are just brought to submission, I would say. That's it, by his music. And I don't know, there's so many aspects. The way he plays his piano, the jazz elements he brings to when he plays the piano in his concerts, or the MTV Coke studio when like what Gautam has in his background when he says Reina, that magical voice, or when he says Iro Des Tera in those two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in general, I just think somehow his music is able to connect with us in a very very metaphysical level, or whatever you call it, very very subconscious level. And I think that's what is more magical for me. Like when I listened to first Kun Faya Kun or Aromale, I was like cursing. I was like, what's this song? Aromale was just like disrupting me every second I listened to it. But then somehow involuntarily I had to go back to the song. I had to go back to the song and listen to it. I had to go back, and finally he's like this master who's like, there's a song, you have to listen to it. It's like his magic potion, he just spell he draws upon us. And yeah, I think I would just go back to the same thing. Like in general, I think we appreciate when we get some order out of chaos. And I think
I
ARR
like what you said. Order out of chaos.
very 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 few things which does that. And
Yeah.
that's why we always like those slow points in songs more than the straight songs.
Do
Call it the
do some tracks bring tears in you as well, or it's just me?
Yes, I would say some of the Coke Studio songs, the way
Yeah.
he sings with Reina too, the ending, the
Yeah.
continent. Oh my God, I don't know. Or Rihai Day, the ending.
True.
The different versions of Dil Se he plays in the concerts. Like I think Dil Se is probably his most favorite song for him to play, because every concert has a different interpretation from him of Dil Se.
True.
Every time he start with prelude, or he'll play with an interlude with that violinist. So I don't know. I mean, what can I say? It's that man
I
is a
think
genius.
I think that sums it all. You've gone speechless, which simply means that magic has definitely done. Sir's magic has definitely done something.
Yeah, and I would say like songs like Maafi Mushkil. I know Archana loves that song. That's such a random song. That's such a crazy song. I would say experimental to whatever limits AR has tried, and you heard it for the first time, you heard for 5 times, you just don't get it. But then at one time, it just wallops you with this energy. I'm like, oh my God, I have to listen. Oh my God, I'm hooked onto this song. That's you can't get from any other composer. You can't get that feeling from any other composer. You get great songs from other composers. You get much more, probably more catchier songs from other composers. But you can't get this from anyone else.
Amazing. Very well said.
That's what.
Anyone else? Yeah, go for it, Rob.
Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Mom was one of the most experimental albums in the last 10 years. And Chekachevendava, CCV. I
Yep.
thought those two albums were really underrated albums. I really, even Mafi Mushkil, when you were talking about it, I was like thinking, I was listening to it even last week, and it was so underrated. Like nobody spoke about it. I don't know why. I guess we didn't have a group that time, so. But even Chekachevendava, I'm like Boomy Boomy and Hayati.
Yeah,
Hayati.
Hayati. That such
What did Hayati do to you? I'm just curious.
no, just not what it did to me. The experimentation that he's done
Ah,
in that
yeah.
song,
Yeah.
Like it's not like something that he's done in Cartwell Day. It's not the
Yeah,
same that he's
correct.
done
Yeah.
in Bigil,
I know what you mean.
you
Yeah.
know. So like even Hututu in Mimi, like
Hmm.
those minute tabla notes that he's brought in between the songs. Only he could do that. As Keshav said, I don't think, yeah, other composers compose good music and like Santosh Narayan, and I don't mind his songs, but that that hook in Param Sundari, like it just gets you that guitar hook. Oh, dude, that's what that's what you that's what brings a smile to my face. It's like a happy tear.
Nice, nice. Someone else wanted to chip in as well, right? Was that you,
Um,
Shruti? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just to add on to what Keshav and Rohit said, like the magic for me that ARR sir brings is his process or his iterative process. I think the thing that I learn from him in my corporate as well is just don't make a report and throw it on the face. Like take some time, review it, revisit it, and you will see the magic. So it's like our mom's cooking, like if I have to draw analogy, it's the year long of care and concern and the recipe itself, right? So it's not just a YouTube recipe. She puts in a lot of care into it, right? That's what makes it special. Then that's exactly what Sir's music is to us, right? It's not just a package of a sound, or it's not just a package of a song in the movie. You hear it as an audio, and then you have your own visualizations and you relate it in a different level. And see that reiterative process he has already gone through, listening to the same track. And of course we should mention his team. So I had this opportunity to attend this seminar of Rasul around 6 years back, and I think that was my initiation point that, you know what, this is where I'm going to dig deep, because unfortunately I have never been around any musical or musicians in my circle ever, whether it's family or friends or any circle. So it has always been inside of me. And then I think Rasul really triggered me off right there in our CA conference, right, Kavya? So we had this annual conference and he came just to put it out. And I think what he said is the overnight success of Oscars, it is an overnight success, but that night was 14 years long.
Wow.
I think that perspective changed everything for me. I mean,
True.
then that's when I realized that there is a whole team behind all of this. And never to mention, like, there is sound engineering, there is music composition, and there is sound designer. He always
Production.
on that. Sound designing is what a lot of them did there, right? He just made us close our eyes and he said, visualize the sound of pile. Okay, so there is a particular way in which a ghost would run, like the white lady. So if I play the pile in a certain way, you can imagine that it is that ghost. And if I play the same in a different way, like a chilangu, you can imagine a child or an infant kind of playing around. And it is the power of our brain. Imagine we can actually visualize whether something is moving from left to right or front and back. All the dimensions of our brain is being tracked by the sound designers there. And then they reiterate. It's not just like, okay, I composed something and I throw it off. No, we sit with it and we kind of reiterate everything. And there is a structured process. And the way Keshav says, so, and Sir also has this listener psychology and also his team. So they consciously make an effort to build the curiosity and then keep that randomness, and imagine the amount of risk that they take with each track. And these are all the packages, and this is the whole process that they go through. And they serve that 2-minute or 3-minute track, which is why the first time you hear it, you have to smile. The first time I hear certain songs, it inspires me. Certain songs I hear at my low points, and I know that this is going to help me get up. There are some songs, even if I'm in the happiest mood, the moment I listen to it, I am a little mellow. I almost have tears, even if the day was good, because of the song. So that is the designing of the sound that they do. And yes, it is magic, but I don't want to take away the efforts that everyone is putting into it, right? It's a very structured process, and over the years, they have come up with this. And that really blows my mind away, and also huge respect to the whole team. I mean, think about it, it is bang on, like it's bullseye every time. So it is a very structured process, and I'm very happy about how it turns out into a magic, because we, like he said, it is order from the chaos. So it brings that chaos and then establishes the order.
Yeah, very well said. Actually, to just to add to what you just said, the team works 24/7, and they basically get 2 to 3 hours of sleep. In terms of okay, if one person is going to get a nap for 2 hours, let's say the other person takes over that part, and then that's how they operate. And then you may have seen, you may have heard these conversations in the podcast. So there is no such thing as, okay, I'm looking forward to the weekend, I'm going to work Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, I'm heading off somewhere. There is no such thing as such. But the thing, however, the team is very flexible in terms of, okay, I would like to take a day off tomorrow, and then someone else is going to jump in, and the creative process continues. So there is no stop to that. And then it's just amazing. It's incredible with how they work, and then the magic that they deliver out of the studio, and we as listeners are able to enjoy. And then yeah, so it's just amazing. If I were to think, if I were to put myself in their shoes, uh, working all through the night and then sleeping for a few hours and then again going back to the studio to work through again, repeat, 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 repeat. Imagine, I mean, I don't know, I don't think it's an easy task. So, yeah. And was it you, Archana, wanted to chip in this? Magic, magic. I
So,
like your t-shirt again.
yeah, I like your hoodie more. So physically speaking, when I had to describe a lot of songs of Rahman sir, it's literally the goosebumps actually happening. You actually see your hair, standing up, and you sense that trigger inside you. And physically, that has happened so many times. Be it at some mood, some song will just trigger you, make you cry for no reason. And sometimes it has to be a reason. You are in that, you are syncing with that song, it's happening, and you don't even know why you're crying. Or you are listening to, say, a BGM. Like, for me, my favorite BGM is the Swadesh BGM of IO Raven. There's the truck entering the village. It's still
Yeah.
my caller tune, it's my alarm. It wakes me up, makes me sleep, everything, because I just listen to it and I feel like I'm in some different world. Especially another song that really did the magic for me was Zaria.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone said, Kavya and Keshav, especially when they spoke about randomness, Sir has really brought that. He's not followed that monotonous rhythm.
Mm.
He's just experimented with his songs crazy. Like Zaria, for example, it starts with a beautiful Dolma ji. I mean, she sings in a very mountainous tone, and then suddenly comes to Zaria ka chorus, which
Mm.
has a different rhythm, and then comes the Jordanian rhythm again by the Jordanian singer. So you go crazy, you don't know what's happening, but something is happening. The way Sir has played randomly with the rhythm, the tune, he's just set a different record. He's set a different bar for the that's why there's no comparison, because the way, I mean, and the word slow poison for me actually started with Rahman sir's music, because
Mm.
otherwise I've never used this word. Sometimes you listen to a song, you listen to it and you're like, okay, and then you want to listen to it again, and then you are somewhere driven to listen to it again, and then there comes a point where for 7 straight days you cannot do anything else but just listen to it, no matter what mood, where you are, what situation you're in. You just want to loop that song is on loop. For example, recently Rihaide, for that matter. So you don't know what to do. You that craziness cannot explain, because you're not able to come out of it. And then another song comes and then it does something else. And so many times songs like Ye Jo Desh Hai Mera, sometimes even Ye Tara Wo Tara triggers that, because sometimes lyrics have also done so much magic with
Mm.
the music. You talk about unity, you look at the stars, philosophically you're talking about unity, hatred, don't, let's all be united. And that resonates with what Sir has always been thinking, and how he is always, you've always seen him as a great human. So
Mm.
when his songs reflect that, for some reason it makes you, I don't know how to say it, but makes you feel like a better human being. You're listening and you feel like you are already inspired. You want to do it the way the song expresses. Implosive silence, if you're
Oh, yeah.
going on a road trip, or you're in that, it's hypnotizing with your mind. I mean, that song is in the the reverse of it, but still the music is like creating something, and y- it drives you somewhere, and you're like in that different world. For me, I'm imagining myself in a mountain, a hill station. It's cold, there are birds, there's total greenery, purity in the air, and I'm listening to it, in that calm place. That's what all his songs do to me, like most of the songs.
Amazing.
Magically, that is what has happened. And sometimes I cry and people don't understand, and they're like, what, why are you crying for all this, man? What is this? Don't be sensitive and all. But they don't understand. Many people don't understand what's happening inside us. That's what Sir's music does. So when I see all of you, I feel like I'm just a drop in the ocean. And you feel like, oh my God, there's so much more we are learning, and there's so much happening. Recently, recently I discovered the Chanda Suraj Akotare, the English lyrics was written by Chris, and I was like, what? I wouldn't have never known that had I not read that chat in the community. I was like, that was a big shocker. I went around telling all my friends who are Coldplay fans, like, "Arey, see this song, Chris has written for Rahman sir,"
Yeah, that's what
like that.
Bharat Bala revealed in the podcast.
Okay, I'm yet to watch that. But so you feel like that pride, like, hey, see this, he has only written.
He
At least
actually asked me, take a guess, who would have written the lyrics for that? I said, sir, maybe yourself or sir himself. He said, no, Chris Martin.
My goodness.
Yeah.
So that was like really an eye opener for me. Like so many things, we're learning, and it's
Mm,
difficult to express. At the end of the day, it's difficult to say
nice.
what it does. It's just something, and I really hope this never ends. This era never ends for us, and want to always be in that mood, in that sync, always.
ARR era is forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to add to what Archana said, recently my friends were teasing me. They were like, "Okay, you're ARR fan, right? So I'll test you with one song." So that was a song from Chekka Chevantavanam. So that Kichi Keith song is there, no? So they just played like 1-2 seconds of the song. I was like, "Guess the song." I was like, okay, this is that Kichi Keith song. I was not getting the name of the song. And rest of the whole day, they were also telling out Kichi Keech, Kichi Keech. They were also repeating along with me. So that is the magic of words what Sir uses in his song.
Yeah, that's a cool song, right? And just makes you smile when you, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
who
another
who wants
track
to?
which
Yeah,
I
go
want
there.
to say is what, yeah, so another magical track is the Kahi To Hogi Wo from Jane Jane Aaj. So that one, if you see, it's just magical. The track with voices. The accompaniment is very low. There is not much music.
Yeah.
Every time date I listen to it, I get a tear in my eye. I don't know what it
Mm.
like why it happens, but till date it's like as if I have had a heartbreak, or like my mind is going to but something. That track is something else. That's what
Mm.
sir sir doesn't need actually the real music. He can create magic with just voices. That's what I feel. He
Oh yeah.
doesn't really
Nice.
have to have all this so-called like accompaniments, and it's he's something else.
Exactly.
Nice. Who
One
else?
more thing I
Sushil
wanted
Nia?
to add.
No,
Yeah,
Archana.
yeah.
One more
Okay.
line. One more line. Sorry to interrupt. And
Only
it's
one
also
line. No, I'm just
okay.
joking.
One line about Murphy Mushkil. Na, when Keshav and Rohit were speaking about that, that song just goes in a loop, and then there's a point where the word comes andhera, and then there's a piano struck. That that makes me pay. That creates a very big pain in my heart. I don't know why. Every time I listen to it, my I feel compressed. I mean, of course the music should not do that to you, but there's so much emotion going on in just that one chord. And you feel like, oh my god, what's happening? You feel like crying sometimes. And that andhera, that chord, when she sings, it does something to you, and it's painful. So that's what the song's impact has been, all many songs for that matter. So that's how I wanted to
Amazing.
just add up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Who else was it? Sushil Rio, right?
Yeah. Divya said and Archana said the same thing. We don't feel that heartbreak, but the song gets connected, right? So I
Yeah.
felt that Rockstar song, I don't remember the name, Meri Bebasi Ka Khayal Hai. And that
Or
whole song, I don't remember the name. Uh,
Orho.
Or yes, and it gives that feeling. And I every time I listen to that song, I cry. Even for the song from Rang De Basanti, Luka Chupi, I cried so many times, and now I fear it's a challenge for me to listen it again. So every time that song pops up, right, I skip it because I don't want to cry again. So that's the impact he has done with his music and all. And
So,
yeah,
just out of curiosity, so when you hear a track like Luka Chuppi, right? Does that actually, I mean, of course, does it remind you about your mom, and then with the lyrics and stuff like that, that's what makes you cry, or is what exactly makes us cry?
it's very difficult to describe, but
That's a good question.
So there, right?
Is it the what I'm trying to ask, is it the memories attached to it, or the memories that are relatable with the lyrics and the music and the voice, with all these factors put together makes us shed a
all the
tear?
factors,
All the above, I think that's what you would say.
I can chip
I
in
couldn't
that.
answer this question. That's why I'm trying to get answers from
even
you.
I don't have an answer for that.
Keshav, you have an answer for that? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah,
What makes us cry?
what makes us cry? I think it's mostly the lyrics a lot of times which makes us cry than like especially in a song the lyrics have a greater meaning and then you start to relate with your life. For example, Naan in Pirandhen is a great example which where you are kind of forced into this journey of self introspection, right? Why was I born? Imagine ARR singing why he was born. I mean, why should he wonder why he was born, right? But he sings it, and then you are kind of wondering, okay, ARR's wondering why he was born, then so should we. So yeah, I think the lyrics do have a lot of connection.
I have
Um,
something contrasting to add to what you just said, because I can always pick a few songs that has no lyrics but still makes me shed a tear. Like for example, Aromale, Shreya's version, she hasn't sung as much like lyrics per se, but the way in which the track goes and the music accompanied by the music, of course, both together does something to me. And as I was being very honest during the podcast with Shreya as well when she came last year. I told her that I was going through a lot of stress that particular day at work, and then I played that track. It kind of gave me the calmness, but for some reason I had tears rolling down as well. Not that I'm trying to challenge you here, but I'm just trying to say that it's just not lyrics alone, but music too. Plus, maybe there are other factors which led me. I can only talk about myself into that zone where I wanted. I don't know. Tears started rolling down. I don't know. It's a funny thing. I can't explain.
I
So
mean,
for me, it's not the memories.
Isha, what was the song that you have mentioned?
Me,
the last one I mentioned was Nani in Pirandhen.
Nane Pirindin, Coke Studio.
Coke Studio.
Oh, okay. That's what I forget the names.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, man, Keshav. Yeah, keep going.
Actually, Gautam was saying something. Then I'll probably.
Gautam?
Oh yeah. So what I was trying to say was, for me, it's not really the memories that's attached with the song, because you have other composers, right, that are original too, and you have listened to them through your life, and you have those experience, and you also get nostalgic through that music. But what's different here is that the music itself, right, that itself is the experience. Like rightly, someone pointed Luka Chupi, right? Like during the song, you feel something. You feel the same for many other original songs too. But
What is that something, Gautam? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I'm getting it. So just after the song ends, right? The feeling you get, you look back and you wonder what you've been through, right? Like that is a very different level of satisfaction. That's like, I don't know if you have had this after having a hearty meal. Like sometimes if food is very tasty, because this is something everyone eats, right? So I believe everyone can relate. Like you can eat tasty food, but it wouldn't leave you in a good state afterwards. In the sense, but some meals, right? You eat it warm or the temperature or something, the making or who made it. Like afterwards, even though the food is also tasty, but afterwards you feel this kind of a calmness. Like you see that satisfaction, right? I feel especially with Luka Chupi, right? Like the song starts and it's not you stop listening to stuff, right? After a point, you just let yourself go and you're just free floating. And after the song ends, you have that kind of a taste. It's not like a taste that you have in your mouth, but you have this mental taste that is very, what do you call, you like that. And you can't explain that, right? If you could explain that, then it's everything that, because in this day and age, many things are explainable, right? The weather is explainable, everything explainable. How things work is something that we have pretty good handle, right? That's science. But this magic, right? That is what I think they say it in the movie, right? It's the only magic that's left. And I think I completely agree with that. And things like this, experience like this, like makes you believe, makes you hope for greater things. Otherwise, I think it's a very cold place, right? This whole universe, and you don't know what's the point of it. But when you have an experience like this, it's the purity of it. It's the originality of it.
Like also adding to that, what Sir says, Sir has this quote, right? If music wakes you up, then it's working.
Exactly. Yes.
We
Yes.
have
It's
Archana.
something big,
me
right?
and Archana there.
Yeah, it's behind Archana.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, there you. Oh, amazing! Yes. Who was it? Who else wanted to add here before we jump on to other? Aditya, Nia.
I wanted to, but both you and Keshav sort of just said what I was thinking. I don't know how is internet
Okay,
work,
you
how
tell
does
me.
Wi-Fi work. Yeah.
Why Sir's music makes you cry?
I mean, for me, it's personally the way the lyrics are, how the way he enunciates it. Like Keshav said, Nani and Peranden did not ring an emotion to me. The way Sir puts it sonically with his voice, or asks any singer to put it, or rather communicate that message that he wants to. Let's say Khadija singing like Matram Kondruva, Manidana Indisai, that part. And like even this morning I was listening to Ulala. I was in like a very small tiny room, and then I was listening to this part, Vanam Yennai, that Mani Tuli Mannil Vande Sindhu Ezhugirade Oru Vasam. I could literally, smell the fresh, moist soil. So this is the way he enunciates it, or rather instructs the singers to communicate it. This is how I will, very vaguely communicate it.
Amazing. Look, there's also one more thing. Archana, you wanted to add something before we jump on to something
One
else?
thing was when Keshav and others is speaking, some songs of Rahman sir, when he sings, there are these songs where we are questioning ourselves, like someone rightly put, and then seeking answers within ourselves. And for example, Kaun Tujhko Rihai De. So you look into us, no matter, I mean, that experience may be with us or not. And some songs like Ye Jo Desh Hai Tera, there are these question marks in this. Kya bataun maa tujhe, main kahan hu.
Yeah,
So
true.
all that. So when you think about that, you're questioning your own self, and then you're seeking answers within yourself, and then that brings out the emotions within you, because you ponder upon a lot of things, and you're overthinking, you're thinking, doing a lot of analysis, and then you're looking back on, like someone said, we're looking back on our lives, and we are like trying to sometimes correlate to it. And these sometimes, and even Dil Se Re for that matter, and when Sir sings it in his emotion, when he brings out that lyrics in his voice, it has an altogether a very different magic, because it feels like he's asking us, and he's like being our guide, and we are like, it's like basically you're asking yourself, and then you're asked to express yourself mentally. So that makes you cry a lot of times, when you think
Yeah.
about a lot of things, makes you cry and emotional for that. Yeah, so
For sure. And so look, another thing that I wanted to get your thoughts on is, for me, as an example, Sir has had a massive impact in my entire life, and then I can relate to so many things, and I just feel like, I mean, his music and the person he is has got me out of various instances, and his music has helped me in the ups and downs, so to speak. and also more from my daily life perspective. As you all know, I am into IT, and then I know some of you are into IT as well. His music always plays while I'm coding and doing some stuff, and then it kind of it's more like a meditative thing for me in my daily life. His music, and and of course, I always look forward to Sir's interviews because with everything that he says, it's very deep. You'll have there's no there's in all of his interviews, you will agree with me that there is no trash talk, but every word that he says has a very, very deep meaning. And even with my interactions with him that I've had, every word that he has said, it has registered in my mind, and then I think through that, I go deep into it, and I keep thinking, okay, so why you probably would have said this, and this is probably the meaning of what he said, things like that. So he has had a massive impact in my life, and I'm sure every Sirs fan will say this. I can put my hand on my heart and say this. So I would like to know what sort of an impact has Sir had in your life. It can be music wise, it can be the person he is, and I'm sure you'll be ticking all these boxes that I've just said. But I would like to hear it from you too, in terms of, okay, Sir's had this impact in my life, and then something that you want to share. Feel free, anyone who wants to go first, and I just don't want to put you on the spot and then make you speak.
For me, it's always the, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go, Rohit.
Yeah, sorry. So for me, it's always his connection to God and um, his humility, the way he respects his, like, he's always had this amazing soft corner for his mother, that, like, you can see that his love for his mother and for the nation as well.
Hmm.
All that, like, you've got so many other, like, we are all fans of other composers and other musicians and bands and everything, but there is something that he's got um that with all this, he's still that humble person that we all love, and that humility, his God, his connection to God, his love for his family and his mother especially, like, that is what I look up to. That's what connects me more to him
Hmm.
than anyone else, for that matter. Like, you've got so many composers, like, there are millions of followers for everyone, but that that you're following, that I've got these many followers, but so I need to keep a straight path and show them that, lead them on to a better life as well.
Hmm.
There are other people, like, that I've seen, like, into drugs, into alcohol, they all think that that's the way of life. But he's stepped away from all that and still maintaining that humility and all that. That's what for me, has always
Nice.
kept me close to him.
Very nice. Keshav, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can learn from ARR. I think Archana said something, or I don't know who said, but about hard work. That's that's something which is most not talked about ARR.
Hmm.
Here's a guy who has worked with Ilayaraja and the 80s, and exposed to most of South Indian music. And then 92 he makes Roja, 93, 94, 95 comes and he makes Rangila. And he makes it as original as someone as a North Indian composer can do. So imagine the amount of hard work would have gone behind that for him to make that jump from South Indian music background to learning Hindustani ragas. He talks about that in one particular interview, that he learned so much Hindustani. One more instance I would say. I used to live in Boston, and 2 years back, he was actually in MIT taking a course. At the age of 50 plus, he has achieved almost everything a man in his profession can do, can aspire from, and he was taking a course. And I actually missed it. He was eating in a restaurant next to my building, my workplace, and I wanted to, yeah, I just missed seeing him. But anyway, he was taking a course at that particular age, and all those things makes you realize that you got to value hard work. Hard work actually gets you a long way. That's one thing, and it's humility. There's this instance where this Wembley London concert, which happened, I think, somewhere in the last 10 years, and a lot of Hindi music listeners walked out complaining about Tamil songs are being played and all those things. Normally, someone would probably then defend, saying, hey, I played actually more Hindi songs than Tamil songs, which was the actual fact, and try to reason that the fans were wrong. But actually, he didn't. He just said, okay, if the fans say so, okay, next concert I will just play Hindi songs. I will just do whatever the fans. I was like blown away. It's a fan's fault, I guess. I would say that it's my take, but he still doesn't go into all those areas. He actually says, fans' word is my wish, or whatever. Fans' wish is my word, and I will do that. And that's something. And I think 2 years back, on his birthday, I think he stood all day long posing photographs with everyone who was there in his. Imagine the amount of patience he has. Imagine how much time would have, for every photo he was smiling. And the amount of patience he has to, and he gives respect to each and every fan. So let's say someone from Australia says he has put his he buys a car and he puts a name, I love ARR, and he replies. He doesn't be like, okay, yeah, so what, a fan just adores me. Oh, yeah, I have thousands of fans like that. No, he actually gives respect to that fan. He gives so much freedom to that fan, and that fan has brought us all together to make a community. So so much you can learn from ARR. How much he has achieved. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I
Nice.
could go on. Yeah.
Kavya, go. Yeah.
So for me, sir is a complete man. He teaches not only like every aspect, He, sir, we learn to be like how to be a good son, good brother, good father. If you watch Harmony, the Kerala episode when he was seeing all those boys, suddenly he shifted himself to the father instincts. He was like, oh, how many years of training is required? Then he, generally people say, acha, okay, fine, 13 years. What sir replied was, oh, by the time these people get mustaches and beards, right? And the voice keeps changing, right? I was like, oh God, he went to the father mode and then came, okay, I'll not talk about that right now. So I was like, wow. And when he was, riding a bicycle and all, he was getting all that. He suddenly becomes a kid. In the sense, he also teaches that you're not supposed to lose the child in you. And people say that when he sees new instruments, that enthusiasm that he has got, I think that he never loses that. And then he teaches excellence. The excellence, he's a perfect example for excellence. Like, getting a national award for the first film is no joke. It's not at all easy. And then maintaining that same consistency to that level of excellence, again, sir teaches a lesson. Instrumentalization, everything related to music, he teaches a lesson. Lyrical values, he teaches a lesson. Now coming to the devotional, spiritual part, again, he's an example there. Then when you see he goes to couple show, I was so terrified. Anyone can identify that the girl who's standing there is a man dressed in a woman. But he's like, no touching and all. How can be someone so pure? I was like mesmerized by that episode. And then he never hurts, as you said. He stood in the line for so many hours and all. That is there. He does charity. He's teaching people. He's taking risks. And the performance in India, no one can match to Sir's level of performance. The grandeur that he has of the stage. And that too, it's not any, just like shouting or something. Everything is a meaningful sound that comes out of it. So he's completely a man whom we can refer to. I mean, every time I do, like, what would Sir do? That is always a reference which goes. I know I'm taking too much inspiration from him, but yeah, it's like, yeah. But according to me, that is Sir. That is really Sir.
Nice. Who else wants to add?
So for me, it's like an everyday inspiration. It's like a hook that I have that I can always rely on. It's like a friend, right? This whole phenomenon itself is like a friend you can trust. And whenever you're low, you're something, you can just go into that ARR mode. You don't even have to listen to the music. You just think about this whole music and this life, and it calms you down. It calms me down. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Nice. Great. Anyone else wanted to add before
I mean, I can start. Yeah. So personally, the impact that ARR had on my life is, so I used to have this teacher back in school, and she used to, sort of give a lot of life lessons to us, which were unsolicited, and we used to shrug it off as boring, but some of them I used to remember. So she defined, back when I did not know what it meant, she defined how should you be progressive. And I remember writing it on my study table the day, it sort of hit me, and I just wrote it on my study table. And believe it or not, 3 years back, there was this ARR interview, and he literally said the same words. He said, you sort of, you like the past, but also remember what are you contributing as a part of the generation that you belong to. And so that is how progressive you should be, and keep thinking forward. Don't look backwards. There's no need to encourage negativity and all that. So this is a significant eye opener for me, and sort of a philosophy that I carry through, in my daily life.
Amazing. Great. That's awesome, guys. Look, this discussion about SIR's impact and things like that can go for hours and hours. And again, we have actually spent good amount of time in this catch up and it just feels like very little even when I think about it. But again, look, we have to wrap up because obviously I have to let you guys go and sleep, especially the folks from the US. It's pretty late. And yeah, guys, I mean, look, it's been a fun catch up, and thanks for making time. And yeah, I'm pretty sure when other fans watch this, it's going to resonate very much, because we're just speaking on behalf of them, that's all. But yeah, I mean, look, it's amazing. I mean, when we are all speaking the same language, because I mean, in the past, as I said, I always thought that I was the craziest one, but I was wrong, completely wrong. Look, all of you, and it's amazing. So, look, with that said, we will do a little thing here. We will all together say, "Sir, we love you," and then you can add, after we say we love you, you can add whatever you want, and you can just scream the hell out. That's totally fine. So just do your own thing, and I'll capture that part. And yeah, so because the thing is, so this is your catch up. So just be free, just go nuts, just crazy. And so I'll capture that moment, and I'll try to take some e-selfies while you're doing that. So at the count of 3, we say, "We love you, sir." Is that a deal? You guys are good?
Yes.
But you got to say it, just not showing, but you got to verbally say it as well, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Everyone together. Yeah, there you go. We love you, sir, in the count of 3. Right? Okay. 1, 2, 3. We love you, sir!
We love you, sir!
And keep going. If you had anything else to say, just make it sound crazy.
Thanks a lot for coming into existence.
Inspiring us every day.
We are blessed to be in the same era as you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Same. Yes.
Please release your background scores.
Yes. Thank you. That's all.
Is please.
ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೋಗಳು ಇರವನಿಕೆ
Did everyone say it together? Because I felt I was the only one who said at the start. So I want everyone to say it together. We love you, sir, at the count of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
We love you, sir.
Okay, cool. And look, I'll play a track, and you guys can dance over there. You can do whatever you want. And
Is it from Atrangi Ray? Is it from Atrangi Ray or any unreleased track?
No. So, okay, right. Yeah, feel absolutely free. We should do a disco party or something. Zoom disco party. Right. Cool. Guys.
Virtual ARR Fest.